Here's my Wemby take. I think in 2025, he's going to break Kobe Bryant's modern day scoring record of 81 points.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So here's why. Do you know what Kobe's scoring high was before that 81?
Was it 50 right on the button?
It wasn't 50, but it was 62. And the reason why he had 62 and he had this huge jump to 19, or 19-point jump to 81, free throws. He's a guy who got 20 free throw attempts in that big game. I mean, it was absurd how many points he scored in that game. But I do think that Wemby is starting to learn how to get the calls from the referees. You're seeing Kev, he's doing a lot of flopping or accentuating contact. Got under Joel Embiid's skin. He got a technical. We talked about it with Jeremy Grant earlier this year, which was so bizarre. In the month of December, he's averaging about 6 free throw attempts per game, which is up about 3 times the rate in the previous month. He's getting on command 3-point attempts and shooting at a high volume. He's a guy that I think, when you look at the way he can score and the knowledge and the confidence that he's accelerating his intuition about the game, I think he's going to get 50, 60. Oh, he already had 50 earlier this year. He hadn't scored more than 40 at any point. He had 3 times this year that he's had over 40 points. And now I think 60's within reach. And by next season, again, we're talking 20, 30 games next year, I think you're going to see him break 80 points. And you know what? The environment of the NBA is such that it is ripe for someone to break that modern day scoring record. When you talk about Luka and Embiid having over 70 last season, we've had 2 games over 70 last season, 2 games over 70 in the year 2023. And I think you're going to see Wemby approach that 70-point plateau this year, but next year, I think it's going to be done.
It's a really good prediction, Tom. It's probably going to be the best prediction on the podcast right now. I think it will be, because with Victor, he is a good bet for it. And I had him on yahoosports.com this morning. I did my current MVP rankings. I had Wemby 5th. Luka not included because he's not going to reach the 65 game threshold. For what it's worth, he would have been 5th. Instead, I have Victor there. How long ago was it, Tom, that we were talking about, oh my God, the slow start for Wemby? He's averaging 18 points. He's shooting 10 threes a game. Is it too many? This feels like forever ago at this point, because ever since that first 10 games of the season, when he was struggling to adjust, 29.6 points per game, 63% true shooting. And that breaks down to 86% from the free throw line, 79% at the rim, 65% in the paint, 40% from mid-range, 38% from deep. This is same, and this follows the trajectory. This isn't some hot streak. This is the trajectory that he's been on going back to when he was playing for Metz 92 in France. This follows it. This is not some outlier. This is going to sustain, and then he's going to build on this, because then 29.6 is going to become 34. That's going to become 35, and at some point it'll plateau. It just inevitably will. But it's going to continue increasing. The scoring amount, that assist amount will increase too, but there will be a night. I think he's going to crack 70, 80. Pooh, boy. Oh, that's tough.
Well, here's the thing. Another reason why I'm picking this is a very subtle one, is the Spurs are going to be in a lot of close games.
That's a good point,
and you might
Tom.
be getting overtimes that will help boost his minutes, because Wemby is not going to be playing 40 minutes a night like Kobe was. He is going to have to get an overtime or 2 in order for him to get to that same minutes played that in that era, with Kobe and David Robinson getting 71. Like, that is something that you're going to have to make up for by going into overtime. And the Spurs are not going to let him play 40 plus minutes in regulation. It's going to have to come with a 50-minute game in double overtime against a bad defense that fouls a lot, that will allow him to get those breathers and to get high efficiency shots at the free throw line. Because the dude, you said it, just efficiency on everywhere, but also if he does start to get 10 free throws a game, this is going to be a lot quicker, much more within reach than we thought. And Joel Embiid figured that out. Joel Embiid and Luka Doncic have figured out if they're going to get 70 points, it's going to have to come at the free throw line. And Wemby is just starting to learn that.
Man, Spurs, what a good story. They had, I think, 4 wins on January 1st last year, and now they're above 500. I mean, what a dramatic change for them. And next year they're going to be well above 500, and Victor's going to be by far the leader in the MVP race is my prediction. After he wins Defensive Player of the Year this year and makes All NBA this year, people say I'm like holding water for the French. It's not true. It's just, don't you see what's in front of you with Victor? I mean, come on.
Well,
the guy's incredible.
I mean, if he does 70 this year, let's just put this hypothetical. If he gets
even if it's
70
only 60, at 20 years old, if it's only 63 or something like that at 20.
I think your top 5 MVP pick for Wemby right now is going to look kind of stale at that point. When he gets 60, the hype around him and the conversation around Wemby, I think people are going to be looking for reasons to put him in the top 3, especially, if the Nuggets aren't winning as much, or if the Milwaukee Bucks aren't winning as much, if Chris Middleton has to miss any sort of time. He's been okay so far. But when we're talking about, the MVP candidates, it does feel like there's an opening for Victor Wembanyama to like steal a lot of votes if he keeps ascending this way.
Yes. The one thing I noted in my article on Yahoo this morning is that on the ESPN straw poll Tim Bontemps does, there, the top 4 is pretty clearly locked in. Like you had Jokic and SGA both with over 600 points. Pretty clearly Giannis in that 3rd spot, Tatum in that 4th spot. But then Luka had, I think, 67 votes for the 5th spot. He's going to be out. He's not going to reach 65 games. And then there were 10 other guys that got votes. So that 5th spot is wide open. To me, Wemby is going to clearly take that spot. It's just a matter of if he finishes 4th or 5th, or, I mean, who knows, even 3rd.